Welcome everybody. I'm Omar, as you all know, and I'm here with Shawn to present the reports module. And we're gonna go through creating reports, generating the reports, and in some cases exporting the reports so that you can share them with other members using the club or other people who are interested in club information. So let's carry on here. Just a quick overview of the topics. We're just going to go over more than 7 reports or so in Club Runner, downloading the member data and all of those forms. We touched on it in the 101 session yesterday, where you can sort of download those member data fields and make your own report. I'm also going to show you the club and member activity reports. They're sort of cumulative reports that pull data from all of the modules in Club Runner into one place and give you an overview either per member or the whole club. And then I also want to touch on printing and creating your own reports using the eDirectory 2.0 and eDirectory Builder 2.0. So, and of course, at the end of our session, time willing, we'll have questions. We'll have time for questions and answers over the air. But please do continue to submit your questions to us in the Q&A chat box, and we will get back to you. And for questions that we don't get back to, we'll have a transcript and all of the answers on the Club Runner community. So without further ado, I'm going to pull up the club site here.
Perfect. And just as Omar is doing that, just to reiterate some of the stuff that Mickey and Omar mentioned, if you guys do have questions, please type them in the Q&A box. We will be keeping an eye and answering questions as we go along. And if you do have, things you want to say, please post it in the chat. And like Mickey said, please make sure next to the to option, just above where you type in the message, you should see an option. Right, by default, it's all panelists. Make sure you click that and change to all panelists and attendees to make sure everybody can see your comments. So
Awesome. Sorry to interrupt, Shawn. And we also do have a poll which will be arriving via Zoom for you shortly here about reports and Club Runner. I do see that it's come up, so please give us your feedback and answers here for using the reports module. And what Shawn had said about to the to setting for your Zoom chat. Do make sure it's set to all panelists and all attendees to make sure everybody is seeing your chat messages. Awesome. So while you guys get your answers in for the poll, I'm just gonna get started on the reports module here. So I've logged into our club site, and to access the reports module from the first from the top bar, I'll use this reports option. Let me get my little red highlighter here. There we are. I'll use this reports module, but you can also access the reports from the reports section on the administration dashboard, and here's that section. But I'm going to use the top 2 menus. I'm just used to it. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with a little more of the granular reports from years of service, and then I'm going to work my way down all the way to club activity, and then I'm going to loop back to the eDirectory Reports 2.0 to show you guys how you can look at some of the system reports we've generated for the club and how you can sort of build on them to add your own fields to them. Okay, let's check out the years of service for our demo club here. Awesome. So this report shows the breakdown of how long each member has been at your club and how long their years of service appear. You can see that in the last column here. What I really want to show you guys is you can filter using the top menu to find specific sets of members for this data. So right now, it's set to only find the active and honorary members at the club since they've joined Rotary rather than the date they've joined the club, and it's looking for all of the years of service. We're not filtering for a specific range of years. But let's go ahead and just get this report set to find everybody at the club, and this should include the inactive members as well. And then we're going to only find members between 1 to 5 years of experience, and I want to find 21 to 30. I do know we have at least one result for that, and I'm going to leave the date joined Rotary as the same. Let's go ahead and click this blue show button. And you'll see this blue show button or refresh button near many of the reports to refresh the filter settings that you've set on the report and pull your new results. So I've shown the results, and here, if I click any of these column titles, we can sort based on that column title. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for years of service. There we are. And now we see all of the 1 to 2, 3, and then at the end, we also have this next page, sorry, to view the next page. And there we are, the 29 and 30. But you can click that same column again, and it'll resort the list to have in the opposite order. So we were descending, and now we're ascending, starting from 30, moving downwards. Sorry, descending and ascending. But hey, we've got that filter set, and the same works for all of the other columns. We can do that for member type. We can do that for date joined, and etc. We can do that for all of them. Okay, and I do want to make a little note. That you can download the reports using an export CSV using this tool here, export to Excel. Pardon me. There we are. So you can use this export to Excel/CSV link to download a copy of the report and then use your own spreadsheet software to manipulate the data. So in this case, it'll have the member name, club name, member type, all separated by commas, and you can import that into another spreadsheet software. Okay, so that's just the years of service reports. We've got a few more to go through. Let's go ahead and check out the age distribution. So this report initially comes up with a pie chart just to show you the breakdown of each of the members and their ages using their birth date. So if a member is missing a birth date, they'll actually appear in this unreported section. But let me sort of go into more detail about how you can use this page. So for each of the age groups, we can click a view link to find the specific members who belong to that age group. And we do get a little brief synopsis of that in this active and honorary column, as well as a total column. Let's just go ahead and do that for the biggest age group, 40 to 49. Okay, and on this page, it looks really similar to the years of service page. Again, we get a bunch of filter settings at the top, and below we have the outputs for the filter. So we can go ahead and poke around with this filter as much as we want. We can include other users. Let's just have exchange students and staff and see if that pulls some results. They may not be within this age group, but who knows? You can always set this report exactly how you'd like. And let's go ahead and include another age group as well. And when we've got our filter settings, we've got to press this blue show button. Okay, and once we click that button, we'll see that we now included the 30 to 39 age groups. I'm going to go ahead and organize this so it's easy for us to see. And clicking it again to organize by descending. And there we go. We see the 30 to 39 group, and as well as what we started with, the 40 to 49 group. And you can do that for a lot of the reports. We just need to press that show button to re-spool those results, and then the report will be generated with your filter settings. Okay, let's move on to gender distribution, probably even more straightforward than age distribution. Right now, we have two genders for the club to select in the member profiles, and this report will just break it down by those two gender options. So we have female and male, and it just breaks that down by percent. Again, if we click that view link, we'll have those same options to filter based on membership type, and then the actual data below. So in this case, gender, and I can go ahead and just include both, press the show button, and we'll just show all of the, in this case, active satellite, corporate, and honorary members. And again, you'll see this export to Excel or CSV link for many of the reports, if not all of the reports, in the reports module. Okay, so that's gender distribution. Let's move on to rule of 85. Okay, so for this report, what the system is doing is it's taking the members' date joined club and actually, I believe it is date joined Rotary. I just want to make sure I have that correct. And taking their age at the club and combining those together to calculate their total duration. So I believe it is date joined Rotary here, but it calculates their total duration and age towards the club. And I know for a lot of clubs, they use this rule of 85 to show exemptions for attendance. So this report just gives you that list of who has put in the time and been with the club for that duration. Using this report, you could add these members to the exempted or excused attendance rule so that they also get the benefits of either being exempted completely from attendance or excused and only show if they come to the meeting. So this would be a quick way to get that information. Okay, and again, we've got that export to Excel link to download a copy of the report and share with colleagues or have a physical paper of it. So there we are. That's rules 85. Let's go ahead and go on to birthdays and anniversaries. Okay, so this report has a little bit of a different interface. It includes other data and can give you a file apart from just a CSV or spreadsheet software. So this one can give you PDFs, and I'll show you how you can get those PDF documents from this report here. So starting at the top, we have our filter settings again. In this case, we're filtering specifically for a month, but you can also set the entire year to pull data from this report. Moving on, we can also decide to include honorary members or not. And in the birthdays and anniversaries report, we have a few birthdays and anniversaries that you can choose to show. So member birthdays, spouse birthdays, anniversaries for the members, and the date they've joined Rotary. Just marking those year marks. Okay, and then finally at the end of the report, you can choose to sort either by the earliest date, so the soonest birthday or anniversary, or the name of the member. Let's go ahead and just change this report a little bit. I'm going to set it to the entire year so that we get more than one page of data. Then for the categories, I think we're good. I just want the most amount of data I can get. And let's sort it by date. I think that makes sense. Let's click this Generate Report button. Okay, and here we see that our report our report has pulled up data for the members here, and we do see that they've been organized by date. So we see August at the top, and in each section rather. So August 1st, August 20th, and that's the birthdays report. So to export it, you can use this drop-down menu just at the top here to select the file format that you'd like to download for the report. So you've got a PDF, again, a CSV, Excel spreadsheets, and you can also use a PowerPoint presentation or Word document file. So that's how you can export this report. I mean, with more club and member data, you'll have a larger report, and definitely filtering for entire year, you'll see a few more members, their birthdays, their spouse birthdays, anniversaries, and their total cumulative time at Rotary here. Okay, so that's the birthday and anniversary report. I think this one's pretty cool. Just sort of gives you that whole upcoming birthdays and anniversaries list, so you can share events with other people. Okay, the next report, I know we had a few questions about this in our previous session. How do I check who's logging into Club Runner and making changes and checking on their information? You would use the login activity report to find that information. So again, in the report section, I click the login activity here. And again, we have a pie chart to sort of demonstrate within some recent time ranges how people have logged into the club. So here I see only one member has logged in within the last month, and I see that for the other ranges that we don't really have much information. But you also see if people have never logged into the report. So let's go ahead and just quickly show you how this report looks. I'm just going to click this view link for the grouping where we have data. And here we go. We see that Tim S., the president of our club here, has logged in on August 21st, and he's marked here. So if you have other administrators, editors, people who are managing their own profiles or other member profiles, you can check this login activity report and see when was the last time they've logged into the club, made those changes, or if just this information sort of interests you, and I know it does for a lot of club admins, it's ready and at your fingertips. So definitely check out your login activity report. I know we got a bunch of questions about how do I know if my members are using the account and how are they using it? Well, this is how you can see if they're logging in and who is logging in specifically. Okay, the next report I really like because basically it's build your own report sort of using our system. It's the download member data form. Mickey had shown you this yesterday, but I do want to go into a little bit more detail. He had shown you making custom fields and then adding them to this, and it just sort of the system does it for you, but getting them on this download member data form. Here at the top in step 1, we see all of the fields, every single one for each member profile, first name, last name, middle name, etc., location information, contact information. It's all here, including the custom field Mickey had created here, police clearance, and we can choose to filter or not, or rather choose to include those fields or not include those fields in our report. So it's as simple as checking some off, or using these two links at the top, you can unselect all of them, so you can just quickly get the fields you want, or select all of them and unselect the ones you don't want. Okay, so that's sort of just a quick strategy to get the information you want. I'm going to go ahead, keep this report brief. I don't necessarily know that you'll be able to see the report after I've generated it here. So I'm just going to choose some random fields and just get this going here. Okay, so that's good enough for me. Let's move on to some of the filter settings we have. In step 2, you can choose the member type that you're pulling this data for. I know a lot of clubs really just want to find their active members information and honorary members information, so you could set that using this only and choosing who. And you also have the option to filter for other users. And other users wouldn't have a Rotary ID and their profile wouldn't be synchronized to Rotary, but they would have access to log into the club, view their own information, or change other information depending on their access level. So that's how you can sort of organize the member type for when you're downloading the member data. Below we have some more filter options like when the member had joined Rotary, when the member had joined the club. If the member has already been terminated, you can filter based on the dates that they were terminated. Okay, and then we've got a last login filter, date modified filter, and club position filter. So this will help you find specifically positions for that year. And you can click this another year button and it'll give you the positions for other years as well. Okay, I'm just going to leave it as current year. And again, you can, so we chose the year, and now we can choose the specific positions for that year to include on the report. So I'm just going to set it to all to get all of the club positions, but you can specifically set to only filter for club presidents within a time range, and you only want this information about the club president. So this could be how you could sort of tailor the report. I'm going to leave it to all. The last setting helps with coming back to this page, say in 6 months, and getting a similar report. In step 3, you have the option of saving the filters and settings for this report for future use. So I'm going to choose yes, and I'm just going to say all member information, names, and address line 1. So this is what I'm going to save our filter as. To generate the report, I'm going to click this orange generate button. There we go, and it should generate with first name, middle name, last name, nickname, address. We got a business phone and some other miscellaneous information. And at the bottom of the page, we will see the download report button to get the report. So I can go ahead and click that. I don't necessarily know that our Zoom software will open it up, so I'm just going to leave it in my downloads bar, but that's how you download the report. To find this filter again, you will find it here in the top right, top left, my saved searches in this blue box here. This is the one I had created, all member information, names, and address line 1, and I had previously created this all member data filter. I'm going to go ahead and click the previous filter, and there it goes. It's already changed the filters, but if we go back to my original report that I've created here, it should do that same. Yep, there we are. First names, middle names, last names, etc., address, and some miscellaneous information. Okay, so that's how you can get a member data report, save it for later use, and then share it with whomever is interested in that information. And this really helps you use the information entered for each member profile and create those reports. And I guess I want to mention one of the best ways to sort of manage this module is to make sure that information that's being entered into the system is correct and current for the members. Because when you generate this download member data report, it's going to pull that information that's already entered for the members and give it back to you. So if there's any erroneous information or a typo, you will end up seeing that in the report. So just good housekeeping, I guess I'd say, is make sure that that data for the members is entered is current and correct, and these reports will have that information for you ready. Okay, the next 2 reports are really cool because they sort of take all of the information that's entered for either all of the members or the whole club and put it into one place for you. I'm going to begin with the member login activity report here. So let's go ahead and click that report. And it's just about pulling the data for the members here as we open up this page. So there we are. So it's pulled the results for the profile that I've logged into, my profile, Omar S. But you can, again, at the top of the page, filter for whom you are pulling these results for. So I'm going to go ahead and use Tim. So once the system has loaded the member list, you can click them from this list. It's just pulling that list for me here. But you can also use a filter box to find the members. Just bear with me here as I have the system pull these results. There we are. So here's the list of all of the members. So I could go ahead and scroll for Tim S amongst the members here, but I'm just going to go ahead and type his name at the top. And once it's found his profile, you'll see the result here. I'm going to go ahead and click his name. And let's just try that one more time. There he is. And I'm gonna go since joining to get as much information about Tim as we can. And again, we're gonna have to refresh the filter. So I'm gonna click this blue refresh button. Okay, and now it's pulling all of that information for Tim. Information about meetings he's attended, his attendance at those meetings, any events he's registered for, member designations that are assigned to him, just all of the information, committees that he's been a part of. So it's going to get all that information for him and then present it to you on this page. In the top left, you'll see some contact information for the member. Below, you'll have their address information. In the top right, you'll see some points that the system allots for being a club president, coming to meetings, being part of a committee. So in this case, it looks like since Tim has joined our demo club, he has a total of 203 participation points, and we'll see how the system breaks that down. And to the right of that, we see that he's generated 95 points over this last year. Okay, below that, we have his membership information, including a blank Rotary number, but I do see that he has some other information like his membership type, his club name, his badge number used for attendance, and the dates he's joined the club. Okay, and Rotary. Below that, we have his club officer position, so he's the current year president, and we see that he's getting 10 points for being the current year president. I suspect that 10 points is here in the 95 points here. Below that, we have committees that he's a part of. Again, he's getting another 10 points for being in the 2020-2021 Foundation Committee. So it looks like he's getting some more points for that. And below that, we also have some information for community participation. So discussion posts, comments, and likes. So this would be reactions to stories, really stories and other event content. Basically, if they have the option to post or comment about something on the club site, they would be receiving some points in the community participation section here. Okay. Below that, we have some more member profile information, just contact information, and at the very bottom, near the bottom, we have their user account information, which would include their access level. In this case, Tim is set as a club site administrator, so he has access to the whole platform. And last time he logged into the club, and last time he logged into the district. And here in the last section of the reports, we've got the attendance over the last few years, and then the points awarded for that attendance. So I see that since he's joined, he's been in a bunch of meetings, and he's getting a total of 140 points for that. And in the top left of this box, we can see this president's total attendance percentage. So we see that he's attended a little more than half of all of the meetings at the club. Okay, below the attendance section, we have the event section. So this is events they've attended and registered for. In this case, he's attended, and he gets a full 3 points for attending the June 27th, 2020 event. That's really what it is. It just sort of shows the list of events the member has attended, and if they've attended, registered, their last known status with the event. Below that, we have the volunteering portion, and this pulls from the volunteers section of the club owner site, and we see that he signed up for 2 volunteer sign-up lists, and he's getting 10 points for being in this one sign-up list, but twice. He's got 2 tasks in there. And finally, we have some designations that were assigned to Tim. He is a past district officer, Paul Harris Fellow, and in the Paul Harris Society. It looks like he has received 30 participation points for that. And this sort of gives you a big overview of that specific member you're looking for. If you want to get an idea of the club's growth over the years and sort of the club's own scoring and participation points, we can use the club activity report. And let's just go ahead and get to it. Again, the system is pulling all of the information for the club, events, attendance, and this time not just for a specific member, but cumulatively for the whole club. So do bear with me here as it loads the information for the club. Okay, it does seem. I'm going to wait just a moment longer here and see if the club activity report pulls, but if not, I'm going to go ahead and try to refresh those results and see if we can pull it up again. Okay, I'm going to, oh, there we are. Perfect, right on time. So here we have the club activity report for our CRX 2020 club. Again, we have some membership overview in the top left. Our filter settings are at the very top, and we have some participation points on the top right here. I want to do what we did for Tim. I'm going to go since created and refresh the results and get that information. So let's go ahead and press this orange refresh button. Okay, and this time it's not just pulling for the 2020-21 years, it's pulling, I believe we have at least 3 years of data for this club. So it's getting all of that information for us. So bear with me here. And once these reports are generated, you can use the blue print button in the top right to get a copy of that report to share with other members, and include all of those charts, designations that we've seen. In the club activity reports case, we would see a member history line graph showing the membership as it changes through the years and months. So that could be something that interests you, is if you'd like a hard copy to share with other colleagues, you could print this report and you'd get all of the bar graphs and statistics from the report once it's created here. Okay, I'm going to be patient. Last time it did take just a moment, so I'm going to be patient here while it pulls these results for us. I do see that just scrolling down while the page is loading, there's lots of information it is pulling from, so it may just take a moment here.
And Omar, while we're waiting for that, let's quickly grab a question here that recently came up. There was, when you were looking through the download member data, Linda
Yes.
noticed that there was an option for the exchange student. Could you just explain where that comes from?
Sure. Yeah. So what you're seeing is you're seeing the sort of breakdown of the membership types at the club. You've got the active membership types, which include just the normal active membership type, active corporate, active satellites, and then what we saw for the exchange students is that they're listed as other user accounts. So they're not a traditional member. They won't have a Rotary member number, and their profiles won't integrate, but they are still involved with the club, and they would be able to log into the club to view club information, and with appropriate access, perhaps they also assist with managing the club. So you could assign them an access level 30 site administrator access, and that would let them assist with the club. I want to go into more detail about that after the end, after I get to this club activity report. So I will touch on that again. So thank you, Shawn. I'm going to go ahead and write that down. Pardon me here. Other user types, so that I'll get back to that near the end of our session. But here we have the club activity report. We've got the total participation points ranging from July 1st, 2017. So it's pulled all that information, and comparing to last year, we see that it has grown quite a bit since last year here. But we've got our membership overview and all of the members who started since the creation of the club to the current timeline here. So we've got the start at 17, ending at 29, with 25 new members and 11 terminated members. So there was a little musical chairs going on, but hey, we've ended up with more in the end of the report here, and you can see that in a line graph right below that. So we start with 17, and if I go to our current month, August 2020, we see that it pulls 29 for the current membership. Below that, we have a lot of the reports I showed you guys earlier in their pie chart form. We've got the age distribution with a portion unknown. So these members do not have their birth dates entered. So we can go ahead and fix that and view that unknown category to enter those birthdays. But we also have some other sections here, the years of service distribution. A lot of people are in 1 to 5, the gender breakdown, club executives, community partition, and for some of these groupings, you'll see that they are awarded participation points for this club executives. Over the years, the club has been entering the positions, and for making sure that that list is nice and clean, they've got 210 points for that. And below, you'll see a cumulative count of the membership designations for all of the members who've been part of your club. So we see Tim is counting for some of these, accounting for at least one of the Paul Harris Pharaohs. He is the only Paul Harris Society, and I think he's also the only past district officer. But if your club has more designations, you would see those numbers here and a larger score showing we've got many members who are Paul Harris Fellows, past presidents, past district officers, whatever designation. You can make your own, and they would appear here with the image you uploaded for them. Okay, and at the very bottom, we have the events created at the club and their revenue generated attendees, guests who attended those events. I see that we have data for one of them in July 27th. It looks like the club had 11 members who had signed up for an event, and from that they made some revenue, and I imagine that event is counting for a more larger portion of this 93 score for the events. Okay, so this is just like the whole report. If you wanted all of that information just at once in your face, this would give you that overview. Here's our breakdowns of gender, years of service, age distribution, membership designations, all of our events we've had in the last so years. You can make that date range and get those results. So you have the option of searching by just 1 year, or you can go for a date range and choose any date you'd like to another date you'd like. I had gone for as much data as I could and went for the since created, so that pull from the club's creation date to the current date, and that may have been why it had taken a portion of our time here to get all of the data for those years. Okay, so that's the club activity report. What I want to show you guys is some of the reports that we've generated for you from our systems. I'm going to go ahead and just get started. Reports, eDirect Reports 2.0. See, I'm running a little short on time, so I'll try to keep it a brief. But I do want to show you guys these built-in reports that we make for you guys, and how you can quickly add a field to them to make further changes.
Okay, and Omar, while that's loading, I know there's a lot of information to gather.
Yeah.
Let's field another question here.
Yes.
Again, on the download member data page that you showed, you don't have to show it, but there was a question that Linda noticed that there was a police clearance option or field that can be selected, and she doesn't notice that on her account. So could you let us know how that got there?
Yeah, so in yesterday's session, Mickey, our colleague here, had created an additional field for the membership. So you would be able to create those additional fields using the membership list module and then adding the field from the left-hand menu or using the administration menu. And I would go into more detail, but we have that information on the Club Runner knowledge base, clubrunnersupport.com. If you search for custom fields, you'll find information about how you can make your own custom fields and then have those fields available on your download member data report so that you can collect those results from your own made custom field. So that's what I'd say to Linda is check out our clubrunnersupport.com's website for creating custom fields. And once it's in, you'll be able to generate reports based on that field.
Perfect. Thank you, Omar. And we did have a follow-up question. You answered the question about the exchange student and the other users. The follow-up question is, can you add exchange students from the past?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could create those other user records. I really want to show you guys, but basically, I'll sort of mouse over where you'd click. You'd go to the membership module, then member list, and then as soon as you click the member list, you'd have a few options on this left-hand portion here, and one would be the other users list. You click that, and you'll have a similar membership list, and then you'll see an add user record button. You can choose other user, and if they're a past user, you can add them and terminate their record or assign an access level of 80 restricted, and that would sort of prevent them from using the account, but you would have that information, um, uh, all of that profile information available for review and report. So emails, whatever you'd like to enter in that profile, the system would give back to you in a report. And you could definitely include other users, members, whomever.
Perfect. Thank
Thank
you
you,
very
Shawn.
much, Omar. And we do have another question here. What is the what's the purpose of participation points?
Really, we create those participation points so that you have an idea of how things are growing. Um, uh, I don't want to say they're arbitrary. They do have values that they link to and are created from. And in going through the session here, I hope you see that you can see those values yourself in each of those boxes. I mean, while we're still on this page, I guess I'll use it. But so here on the club executives, you can find how much exactly you're getting from those participations for having this information. But it's not used towards any other system statistics. Really, it's just a number for yourself for some feedback on how your club is growing and what's changing. But if you're interested in just the facts, you can just use the reports and get that information. The score is just a little way to at a quick glance find out um, uh, uh, the total values. I think my request to pull those reports had timed out here. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to log back into the club here and try to pull up those reports.
Okay, Omar, and as you're doing that, we do have a few more questions, so we'll just keep going through the questions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there was a question here about the login activity report. If a member logs in using the mobile app, does it count towards the login activity? And actually, I'll field this one, Omar.
Thank you.
The when you log in through the mobile app, it does count towards the login activity report. It'll actually count towards a club login. So whether they log in through the club website or they log into the mobile app, it will count as a club login, and you will see that through the club or the login activity report.
Awesome. Are there, I mean, once you're ready, if there are more questions, I'd love to answer them. I see that we do have plenty. We're just trying to find good questions that help everybody to answer in the session here.
Yeah, so another great question was about the participation points.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you mentioned that they have a value and they accumulate, but do we have a way to change the value of the participation points? Can we set custom values for those different participation points?
Yes, I know. I'm noting here that it's a little bit more difficult here to pull up the club site, but you can sort of allot how each of those points are given for the reports. Again, what I would suggest is using the Club Runner knowledge base. If you search, I've just done it here quickly on the side, but if on clubrunnersupport.com, if you search participation points, you'll be taken through some steps to view the participation points and how they're allotted, and how you can further change how they're given based on meetings, events, attendance. However you'd like to make those changes, you can definitely do that. Just search participation points on clubrunnersupport.com. A whole guide is ready to break that down for you.
And Omar, could you actually show us how we can get to that article?
Absolutely. That's a great question. I don't know why it didn't occur to me here to just search it right here on my screen. So here we are. I'm going to go to clubrunnersupport.com. And here's our knowledge base. What I'm going to search is participation points. So pardon me while I There we are. I didn't even finish completing the word, but it's already pulled up the result. I'm going to go ahead and click where can I view and change participation points. After logging in, we can go to the organization tab, then participation points. And on the following page, you'll see the breakdown for each event, officers being assigned, and so on. So you can set your own points to create your own participation or point score.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Omar. Okay. And I know we briefly talked about it, but there was another question, again, about the download member data. If the club does have custom fields, is that something that they can access in the download member data?
Absolutely, absolutely. So in that page where we selected all of the fields that were created at the club, you will find your new custom fields at the very end of all of the system fields. So you'll see the first name information, address information, contact information, some login and settings information, and then at the very last column, you'll see all of those custom fields that you've created. And if you create many, you'll see all of them. So make as many as you want, and you'll be able to pull that information for the reports.
So thank you very much, Omar. And just to bounce off of the, since we're talking about the custom fields, we do have a question here. If the custom fields can be removed if they're no longer applicable.
Yes, yes. While creating those custom fields, you'll see like a little trash can icon to recycle or delete those custom fields. I almost just want to show you guys that using the knowledge base. I'm just going to search for custom fields. I see it's pulled up a different result. I'm going to go ahead and give that another whirl. And there we are. The first guide I see is how to add custom fields. And on the page, you'll see once it's saved, I see that it doesn't, but once the field is saved, you will see instead of a save and cancel option, you'll see a pencil icon to continue to edit the field or a trash can icon to delete the field. So you can add or remove as many as you want.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Omar. And I know we're running out of time here. We just have one last question
Sure.
that we will take. So the question is, can any member download the reports in the eDirectory or do you need special access? So
Yes,
this is
yes.
just for just to download, not to edit. Do you need special access for that?
Yes, you do need an access level to pull information from your club. At minimum, you would need the 50 club executive access, and it goes in inverse order. So the next highest access level is 40 club presidents, and then 30 site administrators. So those 3 access roles are able to manipulate membership information as well as pull information from the system to reports and share that with colleagues. So only those 3 top access levels have the ability to get that information. Wonderful question, Shawn. Thank you for touching on that.
Okay, and I think that wraps up our Q&A session. What we'll do, I know there's a ton of questions that we still haven't answered. So just to note, we will be going through those and answering them and posting all of the answers on the Club Runner community. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And with that, I'll pass it back to Omar.
Thank you so much, Shawn. I appreciate all your help with the questions, and I want to thank everybody for attending, sharing your questions, sharing your ideas and questions, or ideas and feedback in the chat. We really do appreciate it, and thank you so much for coming to my report session. I hope you can use this to get your own report. So without further ado, back to our Masters of Ceremonies, Mickey. Thank you so much.